Right, so let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today. Snezhnaya is arriving in August, and the new reaction system coming with it is going to fundamentally change how cryo teams work in Genshin Impact. We already know about Stellar Superconduct from Sandrone's kit, but that's just one piece of a much larger system. In this video, we're going through every leaked Stellar reaction, what the Snezhnaya meta is actually going to look like, how restricted these new mechanics will be, and whether that's exciting or frustrating depending on your account. Let's get into it. So, Snezhnaya information is moving fast as 6.7 beta approaches. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates as new details drop. Now, let's get into the reactions. First, the framing. Snezhnaya is getting what the leaks community is calling the Stellar Reaction System, a collection of enhanced cryo-focused reaction variants that function as Snezhnaya's regional mechanic. The closest comparison is Natlan's Night Soul system or Nodcry's lunar reactions, a set of mechanics specifically tied to the new region's identity that new characters are designed around. The key difference from previous regional mechanics is that Stellar reactions are all cryo-centered. Every single one involves cryo as a core component. This makes complete thematic sense. What entering the Tsaritsa's homeland, the nation of the Cryo Archon, and HoYoverse is making cryo the dominant element for the first time in the game's history. After years of cryo being considered a weaker element outside of freeze and some melt applications, Snezhnaya is supposed to fix that. There are 3 leaked Stellar reactions. Let's go through each one. Stellar Conduct is the one we know most about because Sandrone introduces it in version 6.7, the final patch before Snezhnaya. Classic Superconduct, Cryo plus Electro, has always been one of the least useful reactions in the game. It reduces physical resistance by 40%, which only benefits physical damage dealers like Eula, and that's essentially its entire purpose. For Cryo and Electro characters themselves, it doesn't amplify their own damage at all. Stellar Conduct completely redesigns this. When triggered, it creates a field around the enemy. Inside this field, all Cryo and Electro characters in the party gain approximately 38% damage bonus to their respective element. That's a meaningful, universal buff for Cryo and Electro teams from the baseline reaction alone. On top of that, certain characters, starting with Sandrone and presumably future Snezhnaya units, can deal what the leaks call Stellar Superconduct damage. This is a special damage type that scales with ATK rather than just elemental mastery, and critically, it can crit. This is the part that matters most for damage output. Older characters like Raiden or Fischl can trigger the reaction and benefit from the 38% bonus inside the field, but they cannot access the stellar damage instances themselves. That's gated behind new compatible characters. Sandrone's kit is built entirely around this. Her charged attack laser deals continuous cryo damage with intermittent stellar superconduct procs. Her signature weapon gives 60% stellar superconduct damage. Her constellations push the reaction further. She is the gateway character, the one who introduces the mechanic and demonstrates its potential before Snezhnaya opens fully. The second Stellar reaction is Stellar Swirl, Cryo plus Animo. Details are limited, but it's expected to greatly enhance standard Cryo Swirl with stronger grouping, extra spread effects, or cryo-focused bonuses. The third Stellar reaction introduces a new Cryo plus Dendro interaction, possibly called Stellar Rhymegrass. Right now, Cryo and Dendro barely interact, so this could open the door for things like Nahida working in Cryo teams and entirely new hybrid archetypes. It's also the least detailed reaction so far, so most of it remains speculative. Now let's talk honestly about the restriction system, because this is where community opinion is genuinely divided. The pattern for all 3 Stellar reactions appears to be the same. Old characters can trigger the reaction and get the field bonuses, the 38% damage buff for Stellar Conduct, for example, but the upgraded damage types and special Stellar mechanics are gated behind new compatible characters, starting with Sandrone and expanding through future Snezhnaya releases. Eula mains are particularly frustrating demonstrated. Stellar conduct moving away from physical resistance shred means the reaction that previously existed primarily to help physical damage dealers is being redesigned into something that helps cryo and electro-elemental damage instead. Physical teams are being left behind again. The broader criticism is that this continues a trend. Nodcry's lunar reactions required specific 5-star pairs for full power. Stellar reactions appear to be going the same direction or further. The special damage types are gated more strictly than lunar reactions were, with older characters getting partial value from field buffs, but missing the core stellar damage scaling entirely. HoYo's design logic is visible. Creating character-specific synergies with new regional mechanics is how they make new characters feel meaningful, rather than just stat-inflated versions of existing ones. Each Snezhnayan character that can deal stellar damage has a unique value proposition that no older character can replicate. That sells banners, that gives players a reason to engage with the new roster. The counter-argument players make is that it fragments the game. If you want to fully participate in the Snezhnaya meta, you're essentially being pushed to pull a new set of characters rather than adapting your existing investments. F2P and low-spender players feel this most acutely, because the stellar mechanic creates an implicit ceiling on what existing rosters can achieve in the new region's content. With all 3 stellar reactions in play, here's the meta picture that's taking shape. Cryo becomes the dominant element for the first time. Sandrone establishes stellar conduct with electro supports. Future characters expand stellar swirl with animo supports. The Cryo Dendro reaction opens new hybrid compositions. The Tsaritsa herself, expected around 7.2, will almost certainly be the character around whom the highest power stellar compositions are designed. The core team archetype for Snezhnaya is a Cryo on-field main DPS, starting with Sandrone, supported by an electro off-field applicator for stellar conduct field maintenance, an animo support benefiting from stellar swirl, a flex healer or additional damage dealer. Characters that still have value in this framework, Rating, as an electro applicator, gets the 38% bonus inside the Sandrone field and generates energy for the team. Kazuha provides Viridescent Venerer shred and potentially stellar swirl value. Fischl, as an off-field electro applicator, maintains reaction uptime. None of them access stellar damage, but their existing roles remain relevant within stellar compositions. Characters that don't fit cleanly? Bennett becomes less central since ATK buffs matter less when stellar damage scales differently. Shangling interrupts cryo application with pyro. Heavy hydro application causes freeze, which blocks electro from reaching enemies and disrupts stellar conduct. Pure pyro or hydro compositions have no path into stellar reactions at all. Snezhnaya's stellar reaction system is ambitious. It finally gives cryo a regional mechanic to call its own. It redesigns superconduct from one of the weakest reactions into something with genuine damage output, and it creates a clear meta direction for the new region. The restriction design will frustrate players who prefer universal flexibility, and it will particularly disappoint physical damage fans who hoped stellar superconduct would revitalize their teams. But the direction is clear. Cryo is the dominant element of Snezhnaya, Sandrone is the gateway character, and everything HoYoverse is building towards the Tsaritsa's homeland is telling the same story. The Cryo Nation gets cryo mechanics, and new characters are designed to take full advantage of them. That's the full breakdown of Snezhnaya's stellar reaction system, stellar conduct, stellar swirl, and the new Cryo Dendro reaction, the 3 pillars of the new meta. Subscribe so you don't miss any updates as 6.7 beta opens and real Snezhnaya information starts flooding in. Leave a like if this was useful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one video. Bye!